Responding specifically to Obi's criticism of the current administration's economic policies and claims that they were worsening poverty, Sanwo-Olu defended President Bola Tinubu's efforts, noting that Tinubu had a track record of reducing poverty when he governed Lagos between 1999 and 2007. Quote, "Now I find it somewhat ironic." I love this. "Now I find it somewhat ironic that a man like Mr. Obi, who did not build a single school or a standalone hospital throughout his 8-year tenure as governor of Anambra, or sustainably provide credit facilities, would criticize the government of Nigeria, which is actively doing that. I say this because the president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is my predecessor, and as governor of Lagos and now president of Nigeria, has built over 200 schools and provided student loans to more than 200,000 undergraduates of Nigerian tertiary institutions," he added. Sanwo-Olu also challenged Obi's record, claiming that poverty worsened in Anambra during Obi's time in office. He stated, "Mr. Obi talks a good game, but was he able to reduce poverty while he governed Anambra? Perhaps we can let the facts speak for themselves." Under Peter Obi as a 2-term Anambra governor, poverty, this is actually a fact by the way, poverty in Anambra increased. It did not reduce. Before Peter Obi became Anambra governor on Thursday, June 14, 2007, the poverty rate in Anambra was 41.4%. But after only 2 years in office, the poverty rate in Anambra jumped to 53.7%. But the interesting thing is that 5 years after Peter Obi left office, his successor, Willie Obiano, reduced the poverty rate in Anambra from almost 60% to 14.8%. Mr. Obi contributed to the increase in poverty in Nigeria. Governor Tinubu, as he then was responsible for lifting millions out of poverty. Being that is the case, who should criticize who? Now, it's funny that when Obi was governor, everybody was actually criticizing him, especially people in Anambra State. Took poverty from 41.4% to 53.7%, right? After only 2 years in office. By the time he was leaving, it was almost 60%, right? And it's this person who travels all the way to Johns Hopkins to talk about how Nigeria is so terrible and everybody is poor. We're poorer than Indonesia and Vietnam combined. Just said, for people who claim to love Nigeria, this is a very terrible way of showing that you love Nigeria. It's the most terrible way of showing that you actually, because to love Nigeria is not to, you know the funny thing about America. America is not a perfect country. There are many bad roads. There's a lot of problems with homelessness, especially in California, Hollywood and all. Nobody puts that out there like in your face, especially if you're a government, if you are a politician. You travel all the way to a foreign country just to demarcate your people and tell the world that we are worse off. Meanwhile, the place that you governed, there's nothing that we can say, oh, it's a lot better now that Obi came. Like, the only thing you are talking about is beer. I think it's the beer that affects a lot of people, right? Yeah, so that's that. And I'm really glad with the answer that Jide Sanwo-Olu actually gave to Peter Obi. I think that's the way to answer people like that. It's very, very hypocritical for somebody who raised the poverty rate from 41% to 53.6% in Anambra State. You shouldn't be the one to tell us about the dangers or whatever of poverty. He is the representation of what he's criticizing.